Hi-ho, sidekicko!
Kale, thank goodness you're here. I could have sworn I made some chocolate chip cookies, but these are clearly sugar cookies.
Well, did you check the cookie dough mix?
Yeah, I totally checked the cookie dough. Jeez.
Don't worry, Gage, old buddy. I thought something like this would happen, so I stopped by the store on the way over, and I got you some.
Oh, you're the best, Kale.
Thank you. Now hurry up and go get ready. We've got a show to do.
Okay.
It's the Khail Your Interest show with Kale Anonymous. Tonight's topic, Retcon. With special guest, Kings of Leon. As always, I'm your reliable sidekick, Gage Agnew. Now here's your host, Kale Anonymous.
Thank you. Oh, all right. Hey, thanks for coming on down. I know things are crazy out there, but we are pushing through. In fact, last night, the president signed into action the Unpopular Opinion Act. Yeah, it looks like the president won't be sitting at the cool kids table anytime soon.
The president should really listen to the citizens of the country.
Anyway, we got a great show for you today. Our topic is retcons. Retcon? Wish I could retcon my last marriage.
I kind of like Deborah.
And without further ado, let's head to the desk.
You know what? Let's let Gage do the desk today.
No way, I couldn't possibly. All right, I'll do the desk.
Woo! I suppose this is less of a Khail Your Interest now and more of a Gage Your Interest.
You're a natural, pal.
Thank you, Kale. So, our subject today is retcons. What exactly is a retcon? Well, it's a literary device for an author to go, actually, this is how it really happened. It's short for retroactive continuity, and it's used to alter previously established facts from older media in the same fictional universe.
Your mother?
Sarah Connor was cremated in Mexico.
My name is Sarah Connor.
That way, the author has more creative freedom in their works of tall tales. The term retroactive continuity first appeared in the 1973 book Theology of Wolfhart Pannenberg by E. Frank Tuppert, which read, Pannenberg's conception of retroactive continuity ultimately means history flows fundamentally from the future to the past. And in the 1980s, this was shortened to retcon in order to apply to such mediums as Dungeons and Dragons and comic books. I, for one, am a stickler when it comes to continuity errors. If something or someone is out of place, I immediately notice. Isn't that right, Kale?
You nailed it, buddy.
The first big retcon I've ever noticed was in Spider-Man 3, when Captain Stacy said, actually, the person who killed your uncle is Flint Marko, the Sandman, not Joe Schmo. And my first thought was, man, that took him an awful long time to figure out that's actually Uncle Ben's killer. And at the time, I was really frustrated. I was mad. Why would Spider-Man mislead me like that? I couldn't express how I was feeling at the time. But as an adult, I'm gonna try. You see, Uncle Ben's killer being a common criminal represents Peter's obligation to right wrongs whenever possible, no matter how insignificant it may be. Hypothetically, if Peter stopped this common crook, he would have prevented Uncle Ben's death, but turning that crook into a third-party burglar turned supervillain removes a lot of agency that Peter had. The problem with that reasoning is that it's all up here. This is how I thought the scene should go, because thematically it makes sense for Peter's motivation in this trilogy of movies. I felt cheated in a roundabout way. This kind of works in the movie's favor, though, because this scene amplifies that with Peter's anger and frustration, which parallels the audience's similar feelings.
We're doing our job. We will catch him.
No, you're not doing your job. I watched my uncle die, and we chased down the wrong man. Now you're telling me you had suspicions for 2 years? Witnesses? Why weren't we told about this?
Settle down, son.
No, I have no intention of settling down. This man killed my uncle, and he's still out there.
Retcons have been going on way before Spider-Man 3 hit the silver screens. Probably the earliest and most famous example was in 1893 in Arthur Conan Doyle's The Final Problem, in which Sherlock Holmes and his nemesis Professor Moriarty fall off a cliff to their death. Then in 1903, after considerable blowback from the readers, Sherlock Holmes returned in his short story, The Adventure of the Empty House. And Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, may I call you Arthur? Well, Artie, may I suggest if you're bringing back one of the most famous fictional characters in history, you might want to jazz up that title a little more, pump up some excitement. May I suggest Sherlock Holmes, Revengeance. Now you might say,
my dear boy, revengeance is not a word. You really must educate yourself on your vocabulary.
Wrong again, stinkwad. Because guess what? Revengeance is the subtitle for the hit 2013 game Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. You really must play more video games, you silly book author. Probably the most prominent example in recent memory of retcons are the X-Men movie, which would span from 2000 to 2020 with 11 movies, so there are plenty of room for continuity errors in that series, such as Professor X walking in 1986 in X-Men The Last Stand, and 1979 in X-Men Origins Wolverine, despite being wheelchair-bound in 1962 in the movie X-Men First Class. Though retcons aren't limited to just books and movies, they're also prominent in television. Two of the biggest retcons are Dallas and Roseanne. Now, is it a coincidence that both of these shows were in their 9th season when they did their big retcon? Yes! Dallas killed off Bobby Ewing at the end of Season 8, only for him to appear in the shower at the end of Season 9. Turns out all of Season 9 was a dream! You stupid audience, you think Season 9 was real life? All the signs were there that it was a dream, obviously, such as... Anyway, switching to Roseanne. Originally, it was going to be the last season, but it was a really bizarre one. You see, for the past 8 seasons, Roseanne was about a middle-class family in Illinois just trying to get by. Season 9 was like, to heck with all this, and they started off the seasons with the Connors winning the lottery, and the rest of the seasons was dealing with the wacky scenarios it came with having $108 million, such as the annoying press, Cape Cod, and producers trying to buy the rights to your life story for a TV movie. This was a controversial season, so different, it rationalized it at the end by Roseanne saying she made it all up to cope with her husband Dan's death.
I lost Dan last year when he had his heart attack. But he's still the first thing I think about when I wake up and the last thing I think about before I go to sleep.
Basically, the last season, Roseanne does a voiceover summed up as, well, actually, I haven't been able to find full confirmation on such a drastic change of tone for the 9th season, but the show had a second chance with its revival in 2018. It brought Dan back to life and ignored the lottery plot. It's sort of like a re-retcon. Worth noting, Dan is played by John Goodman, who excels in pretty much every role he does, so making Dan not dead was a huge audience draw. Side note, watch a bunch of Coen Brothers movies with John Goodman in them. He's in a bunch, such as Raising Arizona and Inside Llewyn Davis. It's a good time. Maybe not watching a superhero movie might do the general public good. I don't know. Just do it, man. Rick and Morty had a whole episode playing with the concept of retcon in the season 2 episode Total Recall.
Who the are you?
My goofy brother Steve? He's been living here almost a year now. Are you losing your mind?
Hey, someone's been spending too much time around glowing rocks, am I right?
Everybody just relax for a second. There's no such thing as an Uncle Steve. That is an alien parasite.
But I've known him my whole life.
No, you haven't, Jerry. These telepathic little bastards, they embed themselves in memories, and then they use those to multiply and spread out and take over planets.
There's a lot of zany characters that are introduced, such as Baby Wizard and Reverse Giraffe, played by Keith David.
We gotta keep an eye out for any zany, wacky characters that pop up.
Ooh-wee! Whatever you want, Rick. We're here to help.
Thanks, Mr. Poopy Butthole. I always could count on you.
This is an example of a retcon being integrated into the story rather than ignoring previously established story beats. The title is a reference to the 1990 film Total Recall, in which the corporation implants false memories into the general population. There's also a strong nod to the 1982 film The Thing, where an alien blends in with humans in order to gain their trust in Antarctica. According to writer Ryan Ridley, the heaviest inspiration for that episode was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 5, where they just introduce Buffy's sister, Dawn, out of nowhere, and the rest of the cast act like she's been there the whole time.
What are you doing here?
Buffy, if you're going out, why don't you take your sister?
Mom!
Typically, retcons mean omitting certain elements or storylines. A good example of altering storylines in a less effective way would be the Legend of Zelda timeline. They start off simple with The Legend of Zelda and The Legend of Zelda 2, a direct sequel. However, for SNES, A Link to the Past comes out and remixes the plot of the first game while updating certain story elements. And basically, for the next 20 years, every Zelda game has a variation on this formula, where a hero rises from humble beginnings and defeats Ganon and saves Zelda. However, in 2011, Nintendo released the Hyrule Historia and said, oh yeah, all these games are connected in some way. I mean, these were fine as self-contained stories, and they didn't need 25 years worth of games for Nintendo to come out and be like, actually, they're all connected. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love continuity, but maybe splitting your game series into 3 separate timelines is a step too far. As stated before, Dallas and Roseanne retcon entire seasons, and I think that's why the term retcon has a lot of negative connotation to it, because it invalidates a lot of past media some people may enjoy. But I don't think retcon is inherently a bad thing. It allows the creative force behind a project to explore different factors of that franchise. What if this character was still alive? What if this world wasn't as forgiving as one would assume? New plots and new stories make us think more critically, and with new ideas comes more unique stories. So if you have a new idea and it involves a retcon, I say go for it. Retcon away, even if you step on some previous plot points along the way. Well, enough ranting about retcons. Let's go to the well-known segment on Khail Your Interest, Phoning Our Friends. Our first caller is from Tallahassee, Florida, and his name is Vinny.
Gage, I've known you for years. What do you want about?
I assure you, I have no memory of a Vinny.
Wait. I think I have something for this. Just hold on. Here we are. Alright. Gage, if you're hearing this, you gave yourself amnesia in order to make a YouTube video on retcons. There's probably an actor nearby whom you hired to embody the personification of a retcon. Please ask him to leave and then regain your memories. Sincerely, Gage.
So wait. You're saying I gave myself amnesia, hired a stranger to act, and I made a whole fake late-night show set? That doesn't sound like something I would do.
Gage? That is, and I can't stress this enough, exactly something that you would do.
Wow. That's a lot to take in. Who am I? What is my life? How am I going
Hey, are you done with your thing? I've got a haircut to get to, so...
Yeah, you're good. I'll Venmo you on the way out. Yeah.
All right, see ya.
Well, I think that just wraps it up for this show.
Yeah, anyways, I was calling because my credit card was being used on set design materials, and I was wondering
Okay, bye!
Gage also wanted me to thank everyone for watching, and to remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Special thanks to Megeara, Reynold Hughes, John Agnew, Enrique Gonzales, Super Swim Team 7, Parker, and Nurchin for supporting him on Patreon. More videos are on the way, so ring the bell to get notified. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Am I doing YouTube outros now? Shouldn't Gage be doing this? I love the guy, but I mean, it's like sometimes it's like he invalidates my feelings by prioritizing the watch time over my well-being. I mean, when was the last time we went out and got a cup of coffee together? When was the last time he just rung up to say hello? He's got to come up with this